Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. I am Martina Lily, and today we are doing pretty much like a get ready with me, trying quite a few new makeup pieces and also incorporating some of my older pieces or pieces that you might have seen like in my 10 days of everyday of Pat McGrath labs in like my speed through, me doing my base makeup, but I haven't actually given you guys my thoughts on them, you know, all that jazz. Anyway, you probably know from the title, but the star of today's show is the Natasha Denona Gold Palette. I've been wanting to get my hands on this palette for a really long time, and it finally got re-released, so we're going to put that to the test and hopefully have some makeup fun. Now if that all sounds interesting to you guys, go ahead and do the YouTubey things, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's get into it. Alrighty, let's get into this. The first product that I'm going to use is actually this Clarins lip oil. I haven't seen this, I've seen the Clarins lip oils, but I haven't seen this one anyway. Look how cute this packaging is. It is very cute. The shade is Blush Camelia, number 15, and it's in this like really cute, I think French limited edition packaging. I saw it on The Iconic and I was like, oh, I'm gonna grab that. They had like a 20% off. I have been wanting to try the Clarins lip oils for a while because a lot of people say that they're really, really good. So I want to get this one, and I also want to pick up one of the Dior ones because they like were sold out for ages and went really hyped, and I want to get them and like compare them and actually see if they're any good and worth the money and all that kind of jazz, you know? So stay tuned for that. Before we dig into the palette, you know we need to prime. So we're going to take my Nars Smudge Proof Eye Primer today. As mentioned, I have wanted this Natasha Denona Gold Palette for some time. Well, originally when it came out, it was definitely like I couldn't afford it when it very first came out, and this is the palette, by the way, if you have not seen it before. It did get released like 2 times, and I kind of was also couldn't afford it at those times, and then she just dropped it randomly like a few weeks ago. And lucky for me, had the money there, so I was like, yes, I can finally get my hands on this palette. So I am so excited to dip into this because I know this is so many of your favorite palettes, and I also know so many of you, like me, picked it up recently. Naturally, you know I did swatches for you, so we will go into a speed through of me doing like a full arm of swatches and individual hand swatches of each of the shades. And that'll be like a time lapse. So we're gonna do that now. There'll be also timestamps in case you don't wanna see them and you just wanna do the look with me. So let's do that now. The first shadow I am going to dip into is this one right here. This is a Refa 20, no, this is a Refa 15. I am going to start by wiggling this through the crease. Oh, I always forget how pigmented Natasha's mattes are. I've been using the Odin's Eye palettes for the last couple of days, and they're definitely not as pigmented straight off the bat. Granted, the colors, like it's like that Jewels and Gem palette and stuff, the colors, you don't want them to be like this pigmented straight off the bat, but it's just always funny whenever I use Natasha Denona afterwards. I'm like, oh yeah, she really does have some high quality mattes. I love this color too. It's like such a perfect neutral brown for my skin tone. So I'm just wiggling and squealing. Oh, look how easy that blended out. Dang. Okay. That's beautiful. All right. Well, that is an impeccable matte. That just was so easy and seamless and beautiful, so very happy. Taking a Refa number 14, I'm now going to dip into this dark brown. I'm going to lightly, notice I've left my outer corner bare for a reason. I'm going to lightly tuck this through the crease as well. I would recommend grabbing less product than you think on the brush and starting small because they are very pigmented. Speaking of that Refa 15 with that original transition shade, I'm just buffing that a little bit because I went a little bit too hard too quick with that dark brown. Now I'm going to take my Intensifies stick from McGrath Labs. You don't have to use this. You can use glitter glue, concealer, nothing. You can wet your brush, up to you. Taking this all the way out to the outer corner here, but not too high into the crease because I don't want to disturb the mattes. We are taking a Refa number 2 and we are going to go into this beautiful bronzy shade right here. I want to use all of the shades naturally, I really do. There's only one shade in here that I'm not super jazzed about, and it's, actually there's two, sorry. It's this one right here and this one right here. Not massively, like they're just not my massive like tones of gold, if you will. But every other shade I really like, and I definitely want to do a look using like these blues and stuff, but I just recently did that, so I want to do this like bronzy look with a little bit of spice today. I'm just going to press and tap this all over to the lid, all over the lid, not to the lid, and to the outer corner. And as always, I like to kind of, my looks are a bit messy, if you will, because I personally like that for my hooded eyes. If you wanted to create like a more structured look, you could totally do like a cut crease or something. It's up to you. I just don't think they suit me. This metallic is totally performing exactly how Natasha's metallics always perform, and it is beautiful and impeccable. She has a good metallic formula, I think, for mature lids too, and if you don't like any glitter fallout, I think her metallic formula is quite good most of the time. I'm going to take the same brush and I'm going to dip into a little bit of this shade. If you didn't want to use like that greeny shade, you could also dip into like this straight gold, or obviously just skip the step altogether if you are following along. But you know I'm not using this palette and not dipping into some form of these greeny goldy shades. You know that. So I have picked that shadow up and I'm just going to tap and like fairy dust it over that bronze shade. This particular shade is a little bit more glittery than the bronze shadow, so just keep that in mind. Oh, that's cool. How pretty. I like that. One of those kinds of looks too that in like that low lighting would look absolutely for you. I'm just taking that Refa 14 again with no extra color, and I'm just going to lightly go over the crease, and then also the Refa 15 with no extra color. Before we move on to the rest of our face, I'm actually going to take this Victoria Beckham Satin Cajole Liner in bronze, and I'm going to smudge this along the top lash line. This might not be dark enough. Can we see this? Jokes, I got my trusty brown cocoa from, I actually need a new one, look at that. We're gonna leave the eyes here. This is the kind of part where it all just starts to look a little bit crazy, and you're just gonna have to hang in there with me and trust the process. I recently used a full one up of the Tatcha Liquid Silk Canvas, and I actually miss it so much, or I missed it so much, that I bought another one, which I was surprised by. So I'm just gonna apply this. I was surprised by because I didn't think I had it for ages and ages, and I didn't think I liked it. And then when I was like concentrating on using it up so it didn't like go off, I fell absolutely in love with it, and then I just missed it. And so Space NK had like 20% off, I think a few weeks ago, and I just picked up a new one in there 20% off. And I'm so happy because it really is such a lovely primer. For color corrector, I'm going to take my Natasha Denona HyGlam color corrector. This is in the shade Light. Can't say I love the concealer that she released for this, just doesn't work for me personally, but I don't mind the color corrector. So it's nice, 1 out of 2 is not bad. I do like the shade of the concealer though, that I got. I did a review of these concealers, if you're wondering, it is on my channel, and I love the shade of the concealer I got, so it's kind of annoying that the formula just doesn't work for me because the shade is like perfect. This isn't a new foundation, but I haven't played with it in a little while. This is the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear Care and Glow in the shade 105W. I finally got my BK 101 back because I broke my original one and I bought a new one recently, and so I'm very, very, very happy to have it back. Now, I actually really like this Lancome foundation. I didn't think I did, but it actually wears beautifully. However, it has fragrance in it, so I can only wear it like one day, and then I have to give it a break for a few days before I wear it again. So it is a bit annoying. I just wish brands would not put fragrance in their products, honestly. I know that's a selfish thing because I'm sure lots of people love fragrance in their products, but for me, I wish that they didn't because it gives me acne. I find this foundation, I find the shade is like really a perfect match for me, and I find it's like really nice and lightweight, and it just, yeah, it wears really lovely. Also forgot how much I really do like the BK 101 brush. It is, I don't know what it is, but the BK 101 and like the 109, I don't know what magic Lisa J did with them, but they are hands down the best complexion brushes. I stand by it. I also was watching Sophie Sees Beauty, I think it was, or Sophia Sees Beauty, I think it's Sophie Sees Beauty. I was watching her review of the reformulated Dior blushes, and like, from what I was gathering, it's like Dior has reformulated all these things to be like clean, but kept fragrance in. That doesn't make any sense to me because fragrance isn't clean. I guess depending on the fragrance, I'm probably not an expert in it, but yeah, that just baffled me a little bit. Let's do concealer. Now I did pick up the Shiseodo concealer because I saw Simply Blair talking about how much she loved it, and so I wanted to give it a go. I have the shade 101 Fair, yeah, 101 Fair, and it's a little bit too light, so I'm just gonna mix in a little bit of my Pat McGrath Labs L4 because this is a little bit too dark, and together, you know, happy days. I don't think I super love the Shiseodo concealer on its own. It doesn't seem to have too like the coverage level that I'm looking for, but I am in the process of, see how light it is? I'm in the process of testing it with other concealers to see if I can find like a beautiful concoction, because I don't mind having to mix my concealers to like create the kind of concoction I want. I do have a couple that I don't need to do that with, but a lot of the time I do need to do that because my under eyes are challenging, at least for the way that I would like them to look. This is the BK109, by the way, and it is the best brush to blend out concealer with. I'm just kind of bringing it through my T-zone to like brighten it up a little bit. I mean, that actually looks quite nice. There you go. Have I found the right pairing for it? I also picked that up on the 20% off on Space NK. I am so excited to try this next product because as soon as I saw it, I went straight onto the website and picked it up. It is the new Victoria Beckham contour stylus. So it's like a little contour pen. I got the shade, great question, 1 second, Travertine. It's basically like an eye crayon and it looks exactly like the eye crayons almost. And then that is the shade right there. I also really liked the shade. So I'm excited to try this. I did also pick up the new brow pencil while I was there. So we will give this a go. Presuming this is more for like strategic contouring, but we'll just see how we go. Now, I know quite a few of you were like, yeah, that's expensive. And it was, I think, like, did I pay 60 Australian dollars for this? I'm gonna say I did. But it's a nice shade. I mean, I don't think you're supposed to use it like how I use it. I think you're supposed, it's like designed for like strategic contouring and like nose contouring. I don't really contour my nose, but we'll give it a go today, hey? I got 2 extra 109 brushes when they came back in stock so that I could blend out my contour with one of them. I do like that it is a bit smaller of the application so you can do it quite strategically. I do like that. And it is blending very, very easily. Like, it just taps in very seamlessly. Oh, actually, I think I like this, you guys. I feel like this is the formula her eyewear sticks needed to be. That I just cannot get them to blend on my eyes. One of you guys, if you know what I'm talking about, it's like her eye crayons, and like they just, as soon as they go on my eye, they just like dry down. And one of you guys said don't use an eye primer with it and don't do anything to your eyes, like let the natural oils of your eyes work with them. It still doesn't work for me. They just like dry down instantly. So I don't know what's different between my eyelids and other people's, but they do not work for me. I'm sure I'm not supposed to blend out. I'm sure I'm supposed to be blending out my nose contour a bit more delicately, but anyway. I like that. I mean, that blended in so seamlessly and it's very natural. So if you're someone that's looking for a really natural barely there cream contour, you'll probably really like this. So yeah, I don't know. I really like it. Is it worth the money? Up to you. Everyone's value of $1 is different. Only you can decide. But in terms of the actual product quality itself, I do really like it. Let's go ahead and powder our under eyes. I'm going to take my Make Beauty powder. I really do like this for the under eyes. This is a KVD 25 brush, by the way. I don't like to take that powder all over my face because it doesn't like the rest of my face, oddly. It makes it look really heavy and cakey. But I have been absolutely loving this Laura Mercier Blur powder. You guys put me onto it and it is chef's kiss. It's so lovely. So I'm just gonna put some of it in the cap and work it into the brush. This is a BK 104. I'm just gonna lightly tap this in. I don't need to set my face too heavy at the moment because my skin's drier from it being cold here. It's crazy to me how much less oily my skin has gotten in the last 2 years. Like, I used to have to, if you remember like the start of my YouTube channel, I used to have to like get a powder puff and like press excessive amounts of powder into my face just to make it last for like a couple hours, and now I can go by with like a kind of a light dusting, really. It's delightful. I mean, it doesn't really matter either which way because I found when my skin was like super oily, Like I could put that much powder on and it looked kind of the same because your skin can handle it because it's just soaking up the oils, soaking up the powder straight away. So it's kind of the same. Anyway, you don't care. Let's do brows now because they look crazy. They look crazy. I like to put my tinted brow gel in first. This is the Refire one. It looks like a toilet brush, but I really like it. I think it does a really nice job. Then I'm gonna take this new Victoria Beckham brow blade. I got the shade dark brown and it has this kind of like really mini, it's like a really, really, really small goof proof, Benefit goof proof. Can you see what's like that little triangle? Is that showing? So I'm excited to see how this kind of performs. It does kind of feel a little bit dry. That's the dark brown there, so we'll see. I do like that it has a little spoolie on the end. Oh, okay, she's pigmented. Gotta be honest, wasn't expecting it to be as pigmented as that. You really need the softest of soft touches. This might be a little bit too pigmented for me, but I do like how fine of a tip this is. It's kind of almost like too pigmented for me. I think I like my Mercier one better. But if you want like a really pigmented Benefit Gimme Brow, I guess, and in a small version, then it's probably the one for you. I think it might be a little bit too pigmented for me personally, but I mean, I'll use it. I'm just gonna take my Too Faced brow wax, Fluff and Hold. That might seem like a little brow gel, but honestly, my brows are like extra strength, and if I don't use that much brow gel, like 2 brow gels, they won't stand up. And then just to clean up the brows a little bit, I'm just gonna take this, what is this called? Highbrow from Benefit. And I just pick it up on a little lip brush. This is an LH Cosmetics lip brush. And I'm just gonna line underneath here just to, I guess, carve it out a little bit. But I find because it's like a lighter pink, it just looks a little bit more natural. And it naturally kind of highlights my brow bone for me too. See that? I feel like my brows are looking like distant cousins, but we're just gonna roll with it. We're just gonna roll with it. I think I'm gonna actually finish the eyes before we move on to the rest of the face. So I'm actually gonna take my Melt Cosmetics Olive Eyeliner for my lower waterline. I haven't worn this eyeliner in a little bit, but it is actually one of my favorites. I love this color so much. Dipping back into the Gold Palette, Delium Tools 777 Shade Brush, we're gonna go into this matte right here. There is like 3 mattes, like, I mean, I know they're not the same, but this one, and this one, they're kind of like just shades apart, but I guess that's also good because it creates gradients and stuff. I mean, I'm one of those people that's really happy with like 50 shades of brown, so I'll never complain. And then just this little pencil brush, I'm going to dip into the dark brown, keep that close to the lower lash line. For the inner corner, I will go into, yeah, I think this little white shade right here actually is a little bit glittery. That's all right, I might just swoop it up a little bit. There we go. A little bit of fairy dusting never hurt anybody. Victoria Beckham Future Lash Mascara. One of you guys asked me why I always use this mascara, like do I only have one mascara open at a time? Yes, max 2, because I was finding I had like 4 or 5 open and then they would go off because it's not a product that lasts a long time, you know? So now I have a rule of like 1, absolute max 2. But also this is my favorite mascara. Let's go ahead and take my Pat McGrath Labs bronzer. I really do think this bronzer is worth the money. I really, really like it. I'm just gonna take it on a Smashbox sheer powder brush, I think it's called. I haven't tried this brush before, but I thought I would give it a go. So actually when I'm filming this, Pat McGrath Labs releases her cream blushes this coming Thursday. I think it is for me, the 1st of June. I am so excited. I would wish that someone had gotten PR, I think, before the release. I would just really want to see more about the formula. This brush isn't too bad. I'm just not convinced about that balm word for the blushes. I'm nervous it's going to be like the formula from the Westman Atelier like lipstick. That makes me nervous because I'm not going to like them. But if it's not, and it's like, it does dry down and it's not that like greasy Vaseline type kind of formula, then I want to pick up the whole collection. So, but I don't want to do that in case I don't like the formula. But if I do really like the formula, then I want to pick up the whole collection because it's like more cost effective, because I definitely want to get the eyeshadow quad as well. Although I don't particularly care about the highlighter. But again, it's like more cost effective in like the entire bundle. I think the entire bundle with like 10% off, it comes to something like $370 Australian. Whereas like what I wanted was like $270, and that was like 3 of the blushes and like 1 quad or something. So, which is still a lot of money, don't get me wrong. But like, you know, when you think about the value, the bundle's a lot better. I'm just nervous about the formula. I don't know, what are you guys thinking? Let me know, what are you guys thinking? Has anyone seen any more in-depth conversations about the formula of those cream blushes from Pat? The quad looks beautiful though. I don't like the matte shade. I think the matte shade could have been something different. We all agree. I think we're done with the plum matte shades. But those 3 metallic shades in that quad look impeccable. So yeah, I'm excited to get that. We're gonna take the Gucci liquid highlighter. I just did a dedicated review of this on my channel if you're wondering. I didn't realize it wasn't out in the US yet. Look at the rest of the world getting something before the US. I'm just gonna pick it up on the back of my on my sponge is what I'm trying to say. Spoiler alert, I love this. This is one of the most beautiful highlighters. It is so natural and like lit from within glow. You can't tell that anything is on your skin. It just literally looks like you just have this like beautiful glow. It's gorgeous. So it's expensive, but I look, again, everyone's value of a dollar is different. It's always subjective. What I kind of do, I get it. Like I don't think you'd be upset if you got it. And like, I think if you paid the price for it, I don't think you'd be upset about it. Like, I think you'd be like, oh wow, it's really beautiful. It's like, look at that. I'm actually not gonna put a cream blush on because I wanna show you guys this one. The Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk in 30, which I think is Offbeat. This is, I only picked up 1 shade just in case. I wasn't quite sure with like luminous, the word luminous, if I was gonna like it. I'm just gonna take my Smashbox Buildable Cheek blush brush, which honestly, this is worth every cent. This is the best blush brush I have ever tried in my life. It's so good. I picked up another one. This is my new one that I picked up. It's so good. And this blush formula is so good. I'm waiting for shade 10 to come in stock on Selfridges, or these aren't even released in Australia yet, annoyingly. So I'm waiting for them to like either come out in Australia, shade 10, or on Selfridges, shade 10. And then I'm gonna pick that one up too. But are there other shades that I should look at picking up from these blushes? Because they are, it's beautiful, like it really is. It's so smoothing and just, it's beautiful, you guys, absolutely beautiful. I probably don't have to tell you that though, most of you have probably tried them. I'm just gonna take my Milk Makeup Hydro Setting Spray. Look how much I have left, nearly all used up. I already have a backup though, because I love this. I'm just gonna tap it on my, or spray it on my sponge and then tap that all over my face to set my makeup. For lips, I'm going to take my Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude Lip Liner. And then I'm going to take my Makeup by Mario Lip Suede in Muted Mauve. And then naturally I have to take Golden Nude from Mario. Perfect. All right, let me go figure out what I'm gonna do with hair and everything. We'll zoom out and I'll show you the finished look, so 2 seconds. And this is the finished makeup look. What do you guys think? I am in love with it. I actually think this turned out really, really beautifully. This palette has not disappointed, and don't you worry, there will be lots more looks coming with this palette because it is stunning, and I can't wait to play with all of the shades. It's really, really beautiful. So I'm really happy that I finally got my little mitts on this. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you like the look? Do you love the palette? Let me know any thoughts about any of the makeup that I used today, or any chit chat that you wish to have. You know, I love chatting to you guys in the comments. If you're watching till this point, you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I hope you have the most amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time. Bye.